The COVID-19 pandemic has killed over 1 million people worldwide as of October 2020. But the effects of the coronavirus are often more than just the physical disease. Fear of infection, the devastation of losing a job, and prolonged social isolation can take a substantial toll on mind and soul. In a recent study by the Chinese University of Hong Kong, 67% of respondents had difficulty sleeping over the past 6 months. And the UK's Office for National Statistics found that twice the amount of its population had reported feelings of depression compared to before the pandemic. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not alone. Reach out and seek help. Recently, I sat down with Hong Kong-based alternative healing expert Nicole Lana to hear about her top tips to cope with anxiety. Stay safe, everyone, and enjoy.
Breathe first. It's very simple. I think I need to do that more often as well. I don't breathe enough. Breathing is a very important. Yoga teacher talks about that, just breathing and really noticing your breath, and that is going to help you become to the present moment. That's number one. Number two, which we talked about earlier, offering yourself unconditional presence and compassion to whatever emotions that you're feeling. So if you have any negative emotions, any sort of anger, frustration, whatever, instead of shoving it, drinking it away or whatever, maybe a different way of approaching it is to actually going deep within and feeling it in your body and trying to understand where it's coming from. And if you're afraid of doing that, working with someone who can help you tap into those emotions, which is the third part, other than unconditional presence, is learning how to feel. I think a lot of people in Hong Kong and major cities don't feel enough, and I was guilty of that. And
so can you just elaborate on that? When you say they don't feel enough, you mean they feel but they're not willing to go into it, or they're not willing to accept it?
Both. And it's normal, by the way, because we've been conditioned like that. I mean, I definitely have that side too. You just cut off various different emotions and just be like, okay, let's do the thing, and I don't care about this. You can notice someone who's obviously angry or upset, and they'd be like, no, I'm not feeling anything. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about something else, right? And instead of doing that and really being able to actually feel that emotion, be like, yeah, I'm actually feeling sad. You don't have to be that emotion, but labeling that, yeah, I'm actually, I have sadness within me. I'm feeling that way. And just notice that actually you don't have to let it consume you, which, it comes and goes, right? Some days, 1 hour you may feel angry, the other hour you may feel more at peace. And it's just a ebb and flow of emotions and being able to be aware of it. Another tip I find very, very useful in interpersonal relationships: don't invalidate another person's emotions, which I've found people do in many social situations, which actually doesn't actually help improve interpersonal communication. So for instance, if you were to come and tell me that, I'm sad, I'd be like, what? You're not sad. Come on, let's focus on that cow. That's so much, nicer. I'm basically invalidating your emotions. That doesn't feel good to you, right? I don't know, right? Instead, if you tell me you're sad, I say, okay, I understand you're sad, and really seeing that you're sad, not trying to change it, and just being there with you in that moment, understanding or seeing your sadness. That is a big way of actually connecting with someone, because you're actually without words. You're connecting with someone deeply. Maybe you don't need to feel positive. You don't have to force yourself to feel positive. I think you feel, it's hard for me as well, I think. I think what advice I'd give is, accepting it and not resisting it. I've done that too. When you resist certain things, like this shouldn't be happening, that shouldn't be happening, you're causing a lot of just negative emotions within yourself, which is normal, by the way. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. And I think that's useful, and you can use that trigger as a way to go within and work with that emotions, and you can also learn to understand and accept that, right now it is where it is, and how do you actually move forward from that? And I think that's one aspect I'd suggest. And secondly, I think grounding yourself, other than doing yoga, meditation, which we already know, and taking care of yourself, is really just feeling your legs, feeling your pelvis area, just really grounding your legs. Then when you feel secure within yourself, then you can actually you can exude that outside. So that if you notice you feel insecure, your whole upper body, you're basically just kind of moving and very anxious and stuff. But really when you take a few deep breaths and really grounding yourself to the ground, feeling your legs and such, you will feel a lot less anxious. I'm not saying that you won't feel anxious, but it's just really feeling the sensations of your fingers, your toes, getting into your body, if that makes any sense. So positive focus works to a certain extent. If you're trying to use positive focus to run away from something, I've found that it does not actually work. What happens is that positive focus get you to a certain point, you attract things that you're positive focus, and your negative focus that you don't know is also a point of attraction as well. So that's your subconscious mind, because it actually runs your life. I think these negative emotions, whether it's anxiety, anger, frustration, or whatever, it pops up, I think, with many people, even if you've done a lot of spiritual practices. But I think what you can do instead of pushing it away or trying to run away from it is just giving it space and accepting. And the acceptance part does come from trauma work, because a lot of times what happens is that your thoughts are running you, and if I tell you just be present, right? You can focus on me and be present, but you're not really being present, because the trauma is still running in your programming. If, say, you cry, right, in front of me, instead of me letting you feel all the emotions, I was just like, Sean, be present, come on, focus on the now. But then you've already escaped the now, because now in the moment you actually are feeling those emotions. That is where you are right now, is feeling that sadness. By me telling you that, not to feel that is actually running away from your emotions. So I find giving yourself that acceptance and that presence is perhaps the most effective that I've learned in any of the healing techniques.
Great, thanks Nicole. And I think Nicole's going to share with us her reading list if you're interested in getting deeper into these topics, and also some links to find more about yourself and also potentially other healers.
Sure.
So make sure you subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. Thanks very much, Nicole, for joining us.
Thank you.